Welcome back to the Redacted podcast, America's most beloved podcast, the most downloaded Red Sox podcast in the world. No positivity horn today, folks, for two reasons. Number one, the Red Sox just lost a game. Number two, they just lost a series. And I said two reasons, but it's really three reasons. They didn't do anything at the MLB trade deadline. Woo!
You just said no positivity horn, and you already broke the rule.
You're right.
Grow up.
You're right. All right.
And don't disrespect Luis Urias like that, okay?
Yeah, they did do something at the trade deadline, didn't they, Tyler?
Oh, yes, they did.
They got fucking Urias.
Yep.
They got Urias.
Let's go Red Sox.
At the trade deadline.
Let's go Red Sox.
Deadline buzzer beater.
Let Heim cook, baby. Let him fucking cook. Holy shit. That is that's probably that's gotta be one of the biggest trade deadline moves since Jake Peavy.
Oh, dude, I thought I felt something when they shipped Manny off. The Luis Urias news, I collapsed to my knees in the middle of Walmart. I could not get up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that did it for me. That was one of the things that I was saying the Red Sox really needed to do if they were going to go for it this year. I was just like, this team ain't taking off until the big oos gets here.
Ooey?
Yeah. Ooey. Yeah.
Listen. I will put my hand up here. A lot of people were not super happy with my Luis Urias love right after the deadline happened, and I understand. Sometimes timing is everything.
It was a dumb tweet.
It wasn't a dumb tweet. It was a good take, and it's still a good take.
Jake, was the tweet good?
Jake, shut the fuck up. I do not want to hear this.
Was it a good tweet?
Well, I'd also like to reference the tweet that came an hour after the deadline where he said, "Oh, Rafaela just went deep," and everyone was like, "Fucking sick, dude."
Such a dickhead. I'm posting Trevor's story highlights and Chris Sale Rehab.
You're part of the problem, Tyler. You're part of the problem. You're
listen,
one of these,
the Bluminati.
You're one of these like younger fans that's just like, yeah, but we get the number 3 farm system, so that's sick, right?
All right, number 5 per fan graphs.
What was that fucking game day MLB tweet that I saw? That had the Red Sox
saw it. I'm not putting that at the same level of those other publications. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they didn't cite where they got that from. I don't know if that was their own evaluation, but
it was.
Oh, it was?
Yeah, they were just putting out their own rankings, and like they were getting clowned pretty heavily. Which, hey, rate it however you want, but there were holes in that top 10.
Whatever. I don't fucking care anymore. I hope the world explodes. I'm over it.
Are we starting deadline? Is that before we have to get into the series?
Who cares?
This sucks. Hey.
What?
Did you not learn?
No, I'm Sox talking. I'm Sox talking.
Talk.
No. You didn't let me finish my sentence.
Suck on it.
All right.
AC. You're. I don't know if you can play that one.
Oh, you want him fired? You want him fired? Is what you said?
Whoa, that's a big jump for you. But I think there's some accountability for today.
I think before we came on the air, you said I can't wait to fire our manager. That's what you said.
Your internet froze. Welcome back.
Yeah, I don't know why it's doing that. I just literally redid the internet in this house, and it's never gonna work. Anyways,
it's over.
Yeah, I'm very frustrated. I can't tell you that I feel anything at all right now. Like I'm numb. I'm not angry. Like I'm not sad. I'm just kind of just like, well, fuck this. This Citrus Hills, fuck this. That's how I feel.
Is this life you're referring to, or just simply the Red Sox?
The Red Sox. My life is great. My life outside of this podcast is great. But the life inside the Red Sox, fuck this. Citrus Hills, fuck this. That's how I feel.
It's weird because I do feel like the conversation we had at the end of last episode, and we were kind of going back and forth. You were like, I can't take another wet fart trade deadline. I think that was the exact phrase,
that's
right?
Exactly what we got.
But like I was very like, I think this is what it's going to be. I was like Rich Hill and Tony Kemp or something like that. Like I was like, they're gonna try and go get that long-term arm.
Rich Hill and Tony Kemp, I think I would have killed myself.
All right. So you would have viewed that. What if they got Rich Hill alongside our boy Luis Urias here?
No, I definitely would have jumped off a bridge.
Would you have given that like a C,
No.
like you did the bare minimum?
F.
So what would be a C for you if they went and got, like, they had to go get
Jack
that
Flaherty.
cost-controlled arm?
Yeah. No. Even
But
if
you
just
knew
got
they
someone
weren't going to do that.
That's fine. You asked me what a C would look like. I didn't say I was expecting it. I was expecting an F, and they gave me an F.
I'd call it a D.
F. You got another fucking middle infielder. You have 16 of those. Sick,
but
dude.
I think you look at Luis Urias here, and like that's a good investment for me personally, because if you can get him back to the player he was in 2021 and 2022, we're talking 112 OPS plus in 21, 110 OPS plus in 2022. He was a good everyday, player. 23 jacks in 21, 16 and 22. Had a rough year, got hurt on opening day with the hamstring injury, right? Kind of fell out of favor after missing a couple months and was down in AAA. I'm not telling you he's killing it down there, but this guy could be your starting second baseman next year until Marcelo Meyer is ready.
Awful.
This isn't fair. You're telling me you hate Luis Urias. This is what you're telling me.
Awful deadline. Like, if you were to ask me, hey, Jared, what are some of the areas that you need to address on this team? The last fucking thing I'm saying, can we get another middle infielder? Like, I need that like seventh one. Can we get like the seventh guy that can kind of play second base? Because we don't have enough of those. We don't have fucking Yu Chang, Pablo Reyes, Christian Arroyo, fucking who's the other fucking idiot that we have?
There's a lot of negativity coming from you right now.
Yeah, because I didn't want a wet fart deadline, and here we go.
I have a hard time.
Oh, fucking Valdez. Yeah. And Manuel Valdez. Another fucking idiot that can play second base. I mean, like, what are we doing? We got 20 of those.
But I think the reality is with a lot of those guys, Pablo Reyes, Yu Chang, they don't see those guys as anything beyond this year. They're just regular depth. I think with Urias, they're like, if we can get this guy back to what he was the last 2 years, then he's a legit player. It's a ceiling higher than Christian Arroyo. Christian Arroyo's never touched these heights in his entire career. He'd dream on these kind of numbers, to be hitting 20 jacks a year. And, I think was +4 outs above average at second base. There's something there. I prefer that over a Tony Kemp, which I know is going to be more of that filler depth garbage that you're just going to throw to the side in a couple months. At least there's some upside here. I'm not telling you to go crazy over it, but I can look at this and say, all right, there was a little, ounce. There was a little sprinkle of creativity with that move. It doesn't change the pitching. You should have went and got an arm when Rafael Devers is asking for one. It's not a great look in that clubhouse. But for people who thought they were going to view this team or this year any differently, I don't know why you're shocked here. When it comes to dealing for a cost-controlled arm,
thing. That's not a good thing, though.
No, like, but that's the reality.
I don't know why you're shocked. Like, of course, the Red Sox weren't going to fucking do dick. That's not a good thing to be on that side of the argument. I'm not
saying it is, but I'm telling you, in a bridge year, they never viewed this year as a serious contending year. They've never bought in on this.
That's the fucking thing. Like 2013, they were not expected to contend that year, but then they overachieved, and then Ben Cherington goes out and gets a Jake Peavy. It's like,
but that team was in a totally different place at the trade deadline than this one.
How?
The 2013 Red Sox?
Yeah, I mean, like they weren't
games out of the wild card and not in a playoff spot.
Red Sox were fucking one game back in the loss column to get into a playoff spot at the time of the trade deadline. Like, we're not talking about, like, yeah, they're not in a playoff spot, but they're right there.
It's a very different conversation than 2013.
No, but it's like, even just the 2013 team, like Jake Peavy was not, like, yes, he won a Cy Young, but he was far from his Cy Young form. He was just like a guy that kind of helped balance out the rotation at that point. Like, you can't, like, even if it was Rich Hill, that's something, right? Like,
I asked for Rich Hill.
The number of fucking Red Sox fans that were like, oh my God, I can't believe they didn't get Rich Hill. I can't believe it. Shut the fuck up. Like, I love Rich Hill, but I mean, if that's the fucking guy that makes or breaks the Red Sox postseason chances, what are we doing here? Like,
yeah,
I don't know. I'm a spoiled kid on Christmas morning is what I am, because I said this to Maz, and I've said this on the podcast before, and I know that it's not what people want to hear. I do get it. and to their credit, the Red Sox have not done this because there would be a fucking absolute riot in the streets. But if they did say, well, we are getting Story, Sale, Whitlock, and Houck back, so like those are additions that are on the way. Like we are going to be a much better team, and soon we are adding those players. Like I get it, and I agree that is going to help. If Trevor Story's here on Friday, fucking great. Chris Sale's right around the corner, awesome. I don't know where he fits, but he helps you out. Garrett Whitlock, I mean, I don't really have any expectations for him at all, just because the nature of the injury and just the wild inconsistencies with his performance based on rotation, bullpen, whatever. I have no fucking idea what I'm getting from Garrett Whitlock. But the point that I've hammered into the ground is that if there were a team out there that traded for Story, Sale, Whitlock, and Houck, you would be like, holy fuck, what a haul. That would be the biggest haul of any team, trumping the Texas Rangers, who got Max Scherzer and Jordan Montgomery, and you can even throw in Aroldis Chapman, even though it happened a few weeks ago. Like, that would trump that. So, in a way, yeah, I buy the whole, like, yeah, well, we didn't trade for anyone, but we are getting these players back, and that means something. I agree, but I'm the spoiled kid on Christmas morning that looks at the situation here, and when you start to break it down, let's just say just from those four guys alone, right? Trevor Story, I have no worries about that. I have no concerns about that as of right now. Chris Sale, no one out there is sitting there saying Chris Sale's coming back, and when he comes back, we can bank on him making starts in September. No one can make that promise. Not a person on earth. Tanner Houck, you got to figure out where he fits in that rotation, if he fits in that rotation at all. Maybe he goes back to the bullpen because they don't have enough space in the rotation. Don't know. But Whitlock, I have no idea. So it's like, yes, you are getting people back, but there are a lot of what ifs there in the quote unquote reinforcements. A lot of what ifs. Trevor Story, I'm going to put him in the I can count on him pile. That's it. So that's why when you try and sell me on, we getting the four guys back and they're all really good players. And if they did switch teams in a trade, people would be really excited about that. And it would be the biggest haul, 100%. But you needed more of a guarantee. When you have Rafael Devers sitting there saying, hey, we need help pitching. And I have a theory. That maybe that came from somewhere else. People that can't openly complain about the roster, or maybe sometimes they do. But I feel like, that's when that message comes from a guy like Rafael Devers, who never speaks up about this stuff, ever. Rafi just goes out there, I get paid, I hit homers, and I eat ice cream. That's what he does. But when you have a guy like that saying, hey, it'd be nice if we had some reinforcements here, that it was just not addressed. Like, you can tell me about Arias all the fuck you want. We didn't need another second baseman. We didn't need one. Like, I guess if he's better, all right, if he's better than Pablo Reyes and Christian Arroyo and fucking Yu Chang and all the other fucking guys that you have for that spot, fine. I mean, they haven't had an everyday second baseman since like Ian Kinsler in the second half of 2018. They haven't had that guy at the position. So it's like, all right, fine. Like, if that's the guy that you think can be the everyday second baseman moving forward, great. But that was not a glaring issue. That was just not a glaring issue. That was not a move that you needed to make that was going to take the Red Sox from a, however the fuck Fangraphs views them as a postseason contender, and then just straps a rocket to their ass. And now next thing you know, they're 3 games up on a wild card spot in a week. Like, it's just not, that's not the move.
No, but to them, like, you look at the comments, and I'm not telling you you're wrong. I'm not disagreeing with you here. But when they continue to tell you, and Bloom said it, it's about the North Star, right? Follow the North Star. I think they were looking for that deal. Could they go get that cost-controlled young arm? But there was one dealt, just one, Aaron Savali. And, the piece they went and got, Manzardo, right? Alex Spear went and kind of talked about it. Really, the only matches that could relate to him as a bat-first guy close to the big leagues or at the big league level was something along the lines of Duran or Casas. You're not trading either of those guys for Aaron Savali, who, out of all the cost-controlled arms we're talking about, the Logan Gilberts, the Dylan Cease, whoever it may be, he's not on that tier. He's much further towards the back, and there's plenty of injury concerns there as well. But I think, as I said last episode, when Edgar Quero got traded and with Lucas Giolito, or for Lucas Giolito, and it became a seller's market, all my expectations kind of came back because I knew they weren't going to pour all these assets and overpay for one of these young arms. And ultimately, teams like the Dodgers that were desperate, right, that were talking about Dylan Cease and trying to make those moves, there's a reason they didn't happen because the prices did get pretty crazy on that end. Where I sit is like, Chaim, at some point, you're going to have to push your chips in here. And now you may look at it here and say, yeah, this wasn't the time. We felt like we were going to overpay to a ridiculous level. If they were asking for Marcelo Meyer, fuck off. You're not doing that. And you could argue that's the same convo for Roman Anthony right now. But still, with all that stuff, it's time kicking the can down the road. And it would have been awesome if you could have given this team a little more runway down the stretch run here. And I understand them not chasing rentals because at the end of the day, what are those rentals really going to drastically change for you, right? Like if you dealt for a Jordan Montgomery, you're not giving up a top 100 prospect, right? You're not giving up those things to go that far because they don't view this year as that serious. Because guess what? All those teams around you were willing to do significantly more.
So then why the fuck is James Paxton still here?
Because they look at it, oh, it's good for these young players. You can compete down the stretch and you're going to get a comp pick for James Paxton where you got no, but you could get a comp pick.
Right. No, fuck the comp pick. Here's the thing. And I have playfully, I have come at Matt McCarthy a lot for his takes, and he deserved the Rich Hill dying on the Rich Hill. He deserved that. But when Chaim Bloom had the comment about the Red Sox are underdogs, that drove me fucking nuts. And Matt McCarthy said, they're not underdogs. You're the Boston Red Sox, right? You're the fucking Boston Red Sox. You should never be an underdog. And if you're viewed as an underdog, it's because you didn't do your job. Like you have the payroll flexibility and now you have the prospect capital and you have all these fucking resources. You should never be the underdog ever. No excuse for it. With James Paxton, like, why the fuck is he still here? You have the Dodgers put together a trade for Eduardo Rodriguez, who said, fuck you, not playing for your team, vetoed the trade. Who was next in line in terms of the next best starting pitching piece that was still available? It was James Paxton. So if you're Chaim Bloom, you're going to sit there and say the Red Sox are underdogs. The definition of an underdog is a team that is not expected to win. Okay?
That's what the Red Sox are this year. That's what they are.
Okay, but he called them underdogs. You're calling them a team that is not expected to win. So if they're not expected to win and you didn't make any moves to make them better, why is James Paxton still here? There were teams that were very, very desperate to add starting pitching, and Eduardo Rodriguez vetoed a trade to the Dodgers. You mean to tell me that you couldn't get anything from the fucking Dodgers for James Paxton? He's how old? 35? 36?
34.
34, whatever the fuck. He's no spring chicken, and this man will never have a higher value. He's not under contract for next year. I don't think that it's wise to extend him beyond this season because of the injury history, because of the age. I mean, if he comes back on like a 2-year whatever, like it'd be fine. Yeah, I'll welcome him back. Like I think he can help, but in terms of where his value is at, it will never be higher. And if you're calling the Red Sox an underdog team, you're saying we don't expect this team to win. We have a guy that is a rental and his value will never be higher. And we hung on to him. Why?
Because they don't view the return as anything different than what they would do with the comp pick.
A trade partner that was like, man, really need James Paxton. Like there were plenty of fucking teams that didn't, like the Baltimore. I know that, you don't want to trade within the division. Fine, I get it. But the Orioles need starting pitching. The Cincinnati Reds need pitching. There was plenty. The Dodgers, obviously, because they tried to get Eddie, needed starting pitching. And you held on to James Paxton. It's like, it's at the point of just negotiate, right? Like
they did. They were doing it into the final minutes of the deadline.
But they didn't because no deal got made. Eventually, like I guarantee you that the final offer for James Paxton from the best suitor wasn't like, we'll give you this fucking dickhead from high A. That's the best we can do.
Is it a top 100 guy? Is it a top 100 guy?
I highly doubt that. Like, there's no fucking way. Like I can't tell you what the best offer is for James Paxton. I don't know. Like the whole Chaim runs a tight ship thing, that's legit. Like Tyler asked me before we started the podcast, hey, did you hear anything? Like, is there anything that we should know before we start the show? Like, did you hear anything on the back channels? Not a fucking word. Nothing. But then I also said this on the Sports Hub with Maz. I said, can we stop the whole Heim runs a tight ship thing? Because it's not a matter of, man, there's no, like, they run a tight ship over there. Nothing ever leaks. What the fuck is there to leak? They don't do anything. They don't do anything. What the fuck is going to leak? That's my question. It drives me fucking nuts to be like, underdog team, man, feisty underdogs. They're underdogs because the roster wasn't built in a way to win a championship this year. That should never be the case. It's Boston.
That's
Boston.
what they've committed to. Like that's the big picture problem, and I can understand that, but that's not a Heim Bloom problem. That's a John Henry problem. Because he's the one who's allowed this to happen. He's the one who made this year, Jared. He's the one who made this year and allowed it to play out that way. Because when Xander Bogaerts left a year ago and the foundation cracked, they knew at that exact moment that this team was not going to be able to compete for a World Series this year. They knew it then, and that's why they stayed under the luxury tax. People who get so pissed, why do you keep bringing up the luxury tax, Tyler? This is fucking why. They've shown you their hand for 5 fucking months, more than that. And people don't want to pay attention. They want to ride the hot and cold wave of this Red Sox team. They've told you what the intention of this team is all year long.
There was a way to do this trade deadline without going over the luxury tax. There was.
What's your way? It's a cost-controlled young starter.
Yeah.
So if they're asking a ridiculous price, that's where the disconnect is. There's a reason none of them moved.
Define ridiculous.
Marcelo Meyer.
Okay, but I know that you don't agree with this. And I'm not one of these people that operates this way all the time. Like, I am not a fuck the prospects guy. Like, I'm not Dave Dombrowski. I'm not going to sit here and say, I don't value prospects. They're all tradable commodities. I don't feel that way. I really don't. But I don't view any prospect in the Red Sox system right now as untouchable. I don't, because of the situation.
Marcelo Meyer is untouchable to me.
See, I don't. Like, no one is off the table. It's not an anti-Marcelo Meyer thing. It is you have a surplus of prospects right now, guys that are blocked at the big league level, because up and down, you could say there are a third of your lineup, maybe more, 40% of your lineup is locked in for the foreseeable future. Like, do you want Duran here for a while? Casas?
Yeah,
Devers?
I think it's Yoshida.
Yeah. Like, there's a lot of guys that are going to be here for a while. Like, the clock is ticking on some of these prospects. I understand they may become really good Major League Baseball players. They may do that. And they probably will, but they can't do it here. So what are you hanging on to the prospects for? Like, what are we doing that for?
Well, we're talking Marcelo Meyer. This isn't a regular prospect. This isn't, you're hoping this guy is your kind of cornerstone shortstop moving forward for the foreseeable future.
But now,
and I think that's a serious situation they need to address.
But now that they're like, oh, he might be a third baseman. So, like,
who's saying he might need to be a third baseman? He has above average marks on his defensive shortstop.
Yeah, it's just like a size thing. Like, he could move to third base.
He can play shortstop. The Brandon Crawford comp, Sox prospects has been all over it. He's playing shortstop when he comes up here, and the marks on his defense this year have been high. They're not low. He's going to be just fine at the position. So I'm not worried about that.
I am patiently waiting, and I'm sorry if you listen to the Baseball Hour, and I'm recycling some of the stuff that I said there, but it needs to be said. In 2021, I remember talking to Jimmy Stewart during the trade deadline. And I was very, very excited. Like, I remember the comparison that I keep using is like, it had a big fight feel. The trade deadline in 2021 had a big fight feel because Heim Bloom, he trades Mookie Betts in 2019 going into the 2020 season. 2020 was a weird year, fucking COVID year, whatever. So, like, 2021 was like the first real Heim Bloom season. And I remember having that like big fight feel, pay-per-view, like, oh man, like that was the debut of like let Heim cook. Like, he's gonna, like, you're thinking he's gonna zig, but he's gonna zag. He's gonna come up with a move that you didn't even fucking see coming, and okay, it didn't happen then. I mean, you got Schwarber, yeah, okay. Like, there were moves that were made.
That's a move at the trade deadline that year.
I agree. Like, there were moves, but like, again, you gave up a slapdick to get a player that was
Aldo Ramirez was not a slapdick prospect.
Slapdick prospect for a guy that was hurt, and that's why you got him at the price that you did. Last year happens, you just let Christian Vasquez go to the other side. You get 2 prospects for him, Abreu and Valdez. But there was like still no conviction because you didn't get under the luxury tax. You didn't trade a JD or a Nate or whoever. You're obviously not going to trade Bogey. That was a colossal failure. And then year 3, nothing. So I guess when you look at this trade deadline, I'm looking at it from the perspective of the full scope and just this year. The full scope is I thought we got a prize fighter that's going to come in and start knocking motherfuckers out. Like I thought we got like the Darth Vader of nerds.
Heim is patient, and I think there's real...
Too patient. It's been fucking 4 years. It's been 4 years.
I mean, in his approach, right? And there's real conversation. There was a June Lee report from over the offseason when the Xander Bogart stuff that was playing, that there are people in that front office that feel he's too deliberate, that he's not willing to kind of strike while the iron's hot, push those pieces in if he feels like something's right. It's a lot of talking to everyone around him. I think that's a fair conversation point to have. But I think the outlook for this year it is different. You cannot look at this year and kind of say like, ramp up. They never viewed it, and they allowed themselves to kick the can down the road. They can't do it anymore. They need to make that move at some point. But to expect this year at the deadline, they were going to go crazy or there was going to be some massive move. They always looked at everyone else in this American League and said, well, the Astros are going to go get Justin Verlander. The Rangers are going to go all out. They're pushing all their chips in. The Blue Jays, they just got Hyun-Jin Ryu. They got Paul DeYoung. They're adding all these different pieces here. They add to the bullpen over there. They never viewed this year as that kind of year for them, and that's okay. That's a fair frustration with where the Red Sox are, but this year has never meant anything more to them than just competing. They just want to be in it in this year, and that's a hard pill to swallow, but that's where they stand, and it's about 24 and 25 to them. That's what they care about.
Okay.
I think that's just the bottom line. I think if you looked at it differently, you were kind of fooling yourself in this.
So I ended today's show by saying I might lose all hope if there isn't some sort of big trade pulled off this offseason.
100% fair. That's the right take.
Like I'm not, because again, like I'm not out because of this trade deadline based on the players that were available and the players that moved. Like I'm not jumping up and down for any one of the fucking pitchers that got moved. Right? Like I'm being honest with you. If I'm not giving up a top 100 prospect to get Justin Verlander here for this year, I'm not. Like between the money, you'd be going over the luxury tax like that. That was not a fit. It was never a fit. I didn't want that trade to happen. Same thing with Scherzer. He's washed. Like I didn't want Scherzer. Stroman wasn't available. Eddie Rodriguez, not a fit. And I don't think that he was ever coming back here based on like all the back channel stuff. That was never happening. So like, I can't throw my hands up and be like, fuck this after that trade deadline, because what move was made where I was like, why didn't we do that? I think the name for me has always been Dylan Cease. And I don't think that that's impossible this winter. Like, I still think that that's something that is a conversation that happens this winter, but something has to happen this winter that I'm going to slap the word monumental on. Like, it has to be more than just notable. It has to be
Where's your Chris Sale trade?
Thank you. That's exactly, yes. Like a Jeff Passan tweet. This is breaking. The Boston Red Sox have done XYZ, and your reaction is holy fucking shit. That's what it has to be, and it has to be this offseason. When you look at the trade deadline, because of that third wild card, so many teams are in it or think that they're in it. Like, you're either in it or you're dumb enough to think that you're in it. The Angels are fucking stupid, and I think the Cubs are stupid. So you had these teams that probably had a lot of players that a lot of other contending teams would be interested in those pieces. They were not available to you because now there's so many fucking playoff spots that it's just, there's not enough players to go around. There's not enough moves to be made that's going to satisfy every fan base that's like, we need to do something. We got to go out there and do something. But in the offseason, completely different ball game. So that's kind of like where I'm at. Like if there isn't a move that's made this winter that blows my fucking socks off, I think I might be out on just like the whole philosophy.
Front office.
Yeah.
Like at that point, there's no other way to talk around it. You took the step back this year, and I think it was clear when they did that it was going to be similar to 2021. But when you loaded up for 2022, you fucked up royally. You fucked that roster up, and that's why 2022 was an F year for Chaim Bloom. This year's been a lot better. I'd put it probably in the B range. But that's where you really kind of need to elevate going into 2024. You can't keep telling people, follow that North Star. What's coming next? It's time. You're in the final year of your contract. This ownership group let you take a step back. You need to elevate. And it's money-wise, I need to see you spend. Go, Aaron Nola's out there. Yamamoto, we've talked about. Go get one of those guys. Go make those big moves. I think that's everyone. Everyone's in love with him.
Yes.
So that's what we're waiting for. I think at this deadline here, they said, we're not going to overextend because maybe if they are chasing that ace or whatever it is, we'd rather hand the money out. Like Dylan Cease's price had to be pretty crazy. I think it was.
Oh, I'm sure it's through the roof because I know that they called on Mitch Keller and that asking price was fucking ridiculous. So
and that's what I'm saying.
Even more.
George Kirby, Logan Gilbert, like all these prices they just kept saying were so through the roof. I think the Red Sox sat there and said, all right, well, this year it would have been nice to give you a little bit of a better chance and it would have been good for that clubhouse. But at the same time, are we going to completely ship out and go over and beyond when we can probably piece this together a little cleaner and save something for the farm over the offseason? Yeah. And I think that's just their outlook for this year. And it's not easy to swallow. But when they go and say, well, let's see what Sale and Whitlock and Houck and all these guys can give us, they should keep us in the conversation right there. But they're not serious about winning a World Series or anything this year. They just want to be in the combo.
And I have to say this to be fair to Chaim Bloom. He's pushed a lot of right buttons too. Like Justin
He's had a good
Turner.
year.
Yeah. Justin Turner. But here's the thing. The Justin Turners of the world, sticking with Tristan Casas, who has become a star before our very eyes over the last month and a half. I don't give them credit for Jarren Duran because it took Adam Duvall breaking his fucking wrist for them to be like, all right, Jarren Duran. Like if Adam Duvall never breaks his wrist, we don't get Jarren Duran. Like that just doesn't happen. Like I'm sure we may see him in sprinkles, but not to the effect that we did.
Well, we know they held on to him. There were teams calling on him at the end of last year. They decided not to make that move.
They hung on to him, but they didn't say you're our center fielder.
No, why would
because
that's
Adam Duvall
risky.
broke his wrist.
That's being a bad. But that's being fair and giving yourself depth. I think it's fair to go
credit. They don't deserve credit for that. They don't deserve credit for Adam Duvall breaking his wrist.
No, but they do deserve credit for holding on the player and Bloom going on multiple interviews beyond the monster during spring training and saying, "Hey, we still believe in Jarren Duran, the player."
For not making a trade. That's all he does.
No, I'm going to give him credit for holding on to a player instead of just shipping him off and saying, "Hey, this guy's a lost cause."
But who have they
he could have done that?
Bobby Dalbec is still in the organization.
Bobby Dalbec isn't Jarren Duran.
But he was a guy that in 2021, he was a guy.
Bobby Dalbec was never a top 100 prospect. Jarren Duran was a top 30 prospect in the sport at one point. I don't give a fuck
about that. Once
two totally different levels.
Once you've graduated to the big leagues, I don't care where you ranked. I don't.
It's different stock, though. It's different skill set. Bobby Dalbec was always like, oh, maybe he can turn out to be a platoon first baseman. There was no one saying, oh, Bobby Dalbec's going to be our starting first baseman.
Player in the league in the second half.
He had a hot month. He had a hot August. He had a hot August. Go look at the splits. Go look at the splits. He had a hot August.
Second half.
It was a ridiculous August.
And September.
It was a fine September. It wasn't what it was. August carried those season stats. Go look at the splits. I have the splits on my Twitter page. I remember tweeting them. I haven't lost that. I remember having those conversations on air. None of that's changed.
The fucking 20.
Pull them up.
The 2021.
The most ridiculous August.
I mean, I'm sure he had a great August, but
it was incredible.
Let's see. 2021. This is so irrelevant to what we're talking about.
And part of the reason we go back, Jarren Duran would have probably made the big league roster if he didn't go to the WBC. He would have had Ramel Tapia's spot on that team and would have been playing in that role. And that was the conversations we were having at the very beginning of spring training.
I don't know about that.
It was. Go back and listen to the first episode and
bring in Adam Duvall to sit on the bench. That's not
he was $7 million in a bridge year. It was like, oh great, we're gonna ship this guy off the deadline and never think about him again. That's what Adam Duvall was. It was like, oh, this guy will be someone people bite on in July.
No.
Yes. We were talking about trading Adam Duvall a week ago.
Yeah, I
last
agree.
episode.
Yeah, we were. Let's see. From August 1st through the end of the season. Did he not have the plate appearances to qualify? He's not even showing up here. Maybe he didn't have the plate appearances to qualify.
Let me pull up these 2021 splits.
I'm going to set the plate appearances to 100. Why is it not showing up? Am I fucking crazy right now?
I'm working on it.
This is your fault. We were cooking and you just derailed the whole fucking podcast.
I didn't derail anything.
You did. From August 1st through the end of the season, he was 6th in the big leagues in OPS.
Yes. What was the September split? I want to see the September numbers.
Well, I'm including September. From August 1st.
With the most ridiculous August ever.
6th in OPS. Bryce
Yes,
Harper, Yasmani Grandal, Juan Soto, Brandon Belt, Kyle Tucker, Bobby Dalbec.
Let me see.
Anyways, not important. Not important. What is important is the DraftKings Sportsbook. Baseball fans, you could be winning every inning with the hottest offers in the game. DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered from the top of the first to the bottom of the ninth all season long. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 to score $150 in bonus bets instantly. Plus, all customers can take a shot at bigger payouts with DraftKings stepped-up same-game parlays. Open the DraftKings Sportsbook app, opt in, and place your parlay by combining 3 or more bets from the same game. Every additional leg gets you an extra boost up to 100%. Step up to the plate right now with the DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the app, sign up with the promo code Jared, Jared. New customers can bet just $5 to score $150 in bonus bets instantly only on the DraftKings Sportsbook with the promo code Jared. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In Massachusetts, call 800-327-5050 or visit gamblinghelplinema.org. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. In Kansas, call 1-800-522-4700. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, 21 plus in most eligible states, but age varies by jurisdiction. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details and state-specific responsible gambling resources. Bonus bets expire 7 days after insurance. Opt-in and 10-plus leg requirement for 100% boost. Eligibility, wagering, and deposit restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/baseball terms. Okay. Jake, how did you feel about the trade deadline? What were your thoughts? What were your impressions? What do you feel? How do you feel right now?
I was definitely disappointed. And I think, honestly, a lot of the disappointment from fans comes from some of the quotes that come out of the front office. It's like, oh, we're looking at a controllable starter, maybe some help in the bullpen. And the stuff with Xander last year, like top priority. Like so many times they say that they're aiming to do something or they're going to do something and they just don't do anything. So I understand not wanting to overpay for people, but it is frustrating year after year just getting absolutely nothing.
Yeah. I agree with that, where which is why I'm not just frustrated because of this trade deadline as an isolated incident. It is
your big picture frustrated.
Yeah, I'm underwhelmed at every trade deadline. Like, I know that like Schwarber worked out. Like, Schwarber was great. That was a great pickup.
Robles too.
Hansel Robles was 0 ERA in September that year. And Justin Turner had some comments, I believe, to the Mass Live article where he was like, I've been on teams where we've made the biggest move at the deadline every year. And the one year that we won the World Series was the year that we didn't add anything. He talked about Max Scherzer and Trey Turner, that deal in 21, I believe it was. They added Manny Machado in 2018. Yeah, they've made a few big time trade deadline moves in years that they did not win a World Series. And the one year that they just were like, hey, here's the group, we're rolling with it. That's the year that they won the World Series. So there's validity to that. But the difference is the Dodgers, in the year that they didn't add anyone, they had fucking MVPs all over the place. Like the Red Sox, you can't compare the 2020 Dodgers to the 2023 Red Sox. They're just not even on the same planet in terms of talent.
They had different goals. Like that's the reality. That those teams had aspirations of winning a World Series. And
yeah, that's those teams had been to the postseason and got close and lost, and it was like scratch and claw to get back and finally get over the hump and win the big one. This group, it's like there's so much turnover, which is not a bad thing. Like there's gonna like to the people that every time someone from the 2018 World Series team signs with a new team or gets traded or leaves or whatever. to be like, yeah, and now we're down to 2. It's like, yeah, no shit, dude. That was 5 years ago. Like there's going to be turnover. Like you can't just run it back every fucking year. I know the Dodgers are trying to run it back with the 2018 World Series team, but like the Red Sox were never going to do that. So yeah, I mean, yeah, naturally there's going to be turnover, but I am just from 2021, the team that went to the ALCS, like we can't even build that up where it's like, oh yeah, we made it within 2 games of the World Series, but it's like, who's we? Who the fuck is we? The whole 21 team is gone. Like, who the fuck is still here from 21? Verdugo?
Yeah.
Like, who the fuck is still here? Pavetta?
Not much. Not a ton after that.
Right? That was 2 years ago.
But like at the same time, right? Like that was the Dombrowski engine that got them there. And I think what Bloom deserves credit for that year is he filled out the ends of the roster very well. He was able to kind of pick the parts on the outside and the margins and bring value. In 2022, when the engine started to transition, he didn't build a good engine. This year, the engine's been pretty solid. I'm not telling you it's great, but it's fine.
It's been
good.
nice. And Maz made this point because he was asking me, like, list the guys that were the key contributors this year. And I started naming guys. There's a lot of Bloom guys. Not all of them.
It's his engine.
A lot of Bloom guys. Yoshida, give him credit. Yeah, like Chris Martin, who I said was the unsung hero of this season. I think we take for granted Kenley Jansen just having a legit closer.
Josh
Makes all the difference in the world. Who?
Give him his credit.
Chris Martin, no doubt. Chris Martin's been awesome, dude. Kenley
Shame
Jansen.
Connor Wong.
Justin Turner. Big time Heim Bloom guy. And like I know that he's a Dave Dombrowski draft pick, but like I said earlier, sticking with Tristan Casas, that's a Red Sox decision. They made that decision. He's not their draft pick, but they chose him out of the gate this year, and they stuck with him when it wasn't going that great at all. Dude was hitting like a $188 with like a 650 OPS for a quarter of the season. But they understand, hey, big picture. Tyler was saying it all offseason. Like, this is the season where we figure out what we got. And the Red Sox felt the same fucking way. And that's why Tristan Casas is having the breakout season that he is, because they were like, I'm sure it goes a long way with him or with anyone really, knowing, hey, if you fuck up, like, you're still the guy. Like, if you have a bad week, don't start panicking thinking we're going to send you down because you've had a bad 11 games. Like, if you're going to figure it out, you're going to figure it out up here. Like, we're going to benefit from you figuring it out. So that goes a long way. But yeah, I'm sure if you're a Red Sox fan right now and you're listening to this and you're frustrated about the trade deadline. I mean, we haven't even mentioned that they just lost the series to the Seattle Mariners, who were sellers. Like, they fucking traded their closer like right before this series with the Red Sox. We haven't even mentioned like losing that series. And
it's like justifying to some degree. I'm not telling you for the cost controlled stuff, not exactly. But at the same time, they are still the same roller coaster they have been, where they are undoing, not completely, but you're hurting yourself. You've lost back-to-back series now. You've stopped that momentum again.
Yeah.
Series where, let's argue, they could have easily won the last 2 series.
The Red Sox had a 3-0 lead in the finale, which was today, which is what, Wednesday? Yeah. They had a 3-0 lead that they pissed away. They end up losing the game 6-3. So even that Cotillo piece that came out today, there were a lot of interesting. I know that like people were talking about like the whatever unnamed veteran that was pissing and moaning in the clubhouse about the Red Sox not adding anyone. Like, that's the quote or the piece of the article that got all the play on Twitter. But I think a lot of other stuff stood out to me, and just hearing Cora talk about the Red Sox, and Cora doesn't bullshit people. Like, he'll either tell you straight up or he'll tell you without telling you. And
what did he tell everyone 4 days ago when that line came out? People aren't going to probably agree with what we're doing. They're not going to think we're right.
Yeah.
Cora knew what was going to play. Like this is, I think he's known the reality for some time off the Sam Kennedy comments. They've been showing their hand. We were just hopeful. We were hopeful you were going to get that big move finally.
Yeah, because we've been conditioned to it our whole lives. Like, that's more or less, the Red Sox have made a big move at the trade deadline almost every single year, except for the Heim Bloom years. Like, that's really it. Because I remember think about it. Fucking 2018, they go out and trade for Steve Pearce and Nathan Eovaldi, and everyone was like, "Oh man, this deadline sucks." They got the World Series MVP and the dude that fucking shoved it up the Yankees' ass in Yankee Stadium and became a postseason hero. And he's got the second lowest ERA in the fucking big leagues this year. And I remember people being like, "Oh, really? We just got Nathan Eovaldi and Steve Pearce. That's it? How are we gonna get to 150 wins?"
I know.
now?
It's like that. That's such. I hate that like level of thinking. And I'm not trying to crap on Catillo, but he tweeted, he was like, "This feels very 2019-y." Like, no, this trade deadline doesn't feel very 2019.
They did in 2019.
They got Andrew Cashner's bum ass, which
that was a team 2019.
Yes, and that was a team way over the luxury tax.
Shit.
Way over the luxury tax with the worst farm system in baseball. Like, you are in a much different place as an organization. I can understand. There's fair frustration. I'm frustrated too, right?
You sound frustrated.
I am frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
But I want that big move more than anyone. There's a reason why we've had a million conversations about it. Begging. I was begging last year for a controllable arm. We're all still waiting. But, 2019, the whole organization, they were on the outskirts of a window. They knew this was kind of wrapping up here. This year, say what you will, I wanted more at the deadline. You should have been able to go find a number 5 or whatever it was out there just to say, "Hey, guys, I see your bullpen." And we'll talk about it today. Your bullpen is tired. They have the most innings in baseball since July 1st. They need a breather. Here's an arm just to get you through. And while we figure out all these new roles and everything like that, and we can throw them to the side later. You compare it to 2019, you have a very good farm system. You are under the luxury tax, which another problem with this trade deadline for me. You're at 228. You couldn't figure out anything with that remaining $5 million. At least go to the utmost level. Show me that creativity, Heim. That's where I sit there. I'm like, you just left $5 million on the fucking floor. Do something with it, anything with it. You couldn't have just taken on $5 million for nothing? Some bum ass reliever to bring in to eat innings? Like, I would have taken that. That's where the lack of creativity, and I think you can go and say, I don't think Heim's has been very creative for a guy who was labeled as this creative guy when he came in here. Where's the trade where I'm like, whoa, that was something. Mm-hmm. Now, Urias, smart, it's small. I want big creativity. I need the big creativity. That's what we wait for.
Yeah. Who's the fucking idiot the Yankees traded for?
Not friggin' Ronaldo Lopez, who's the other White Sox reliever. Yeah.
Middleton?
Another. Yeah. Is it Kenyon?
Who the fuck is that?
He's like a mid reliever.
Okay.
Yeah. Keenan. Keynan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keenan. Keenan Middleton.
Poor Yankee fans, man.
Yeah. They're confused.
I mean, fuck them, but like also like what a tough time.
It could be worse. You could be the Yankees.
Yeah. That is what a wild time to be a Yankee fan.
Jared, I do want to give a slight tip of the cap to you. He was very hot the first 2 weeks of September. I'll give it to you.
No shit.
He cooled the last 2 weeks. He was horrendous the last 2 weeks of the season.
The last 2 weeks.
When they were trying to make the playoffs.
Jared,
When the season was on the line. Where's Bobby Dalbec? I can't fucking find him. I can't find him, Mr. Quadruple A baseball player. Where the fuck is Bobby Dalbec at?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, sorry. He disappeared when the season was on the line.
Yeah. He was really good for the first 9 weeks of the sample, but those last two,
and then in the playoffs, he was fucking unusable. Bobby Dalbec. Enjoy AAA. Enjoy AAA.
What happened to Bullet?
He died.
Yeah.
AAA fucking home run king.
Just like your
Bobby
argument.
Dalbec.
Just like your argument. Dead.
Oh God. Jaron Duran and Bobby Dalbec are not the same. No one's buying.
I didn't say that.
Yes, you. It doesn't matter once they graduate. Who cares?
Here we go.
Yeah, totally different fucking players.
Here we go. This is sad to see. It's really sad.
I hate you.
I love Blue Moon.
That was good.
Yeah, I think I want to hear a little bit about Blue Moon right now.
You know what? Fuck you, Jake. Give it to me.
Why,
I don't
Jake?
give a fuck. Because I know he's gonna give it to me.
What is he gonna say?
Who the fuck knows? But he'll come up with something. Guess what?
Yeah.
I don't
What?
give a fuck.
I think you do.
I do a little.
Yeah. The ever since we yelled at the Reddit, the numbers for this show have gone up. I think those I think those stupid fucks were like,
I'm going to shit on the show, but then I'm going to tell all my friends to listen to them telling me how stupid I am.
They love that Sox talk.
I mean, we gave them the Sox. I mean, you tell this might be the episode of the year in terms of Sox talk.
We're screaming at each other for an hour.
I haven't been this fired up about the Red Sox in a long time. A long time. I feel like I've been having straight missionary sex with the Red Sox for like a few years now. And tonight, I threw a pinky in that ass. I was like, I'm gonna do some weird shit. And I got after. I showed passion.
Listen, I'm fully erect. I don't know. Maybe you need to cut that out. I think we're pretty close about where we stand. I don't think we're very far off. Yes. So I don't know if you want to suck on it after that.
Yeah.
But I don't think we're very far off in how we see it. I think more is like I'm expecting it. Whatever. I'm done.
Anyways, Blue Moon, right?
Get him.
Playoffs are just around the corner, so it's time to help your team out by sticking to your lucky rituals, like the ritual of enjoying an ice-cold Blue Moon while the game is on. Blue Moon was born in a ballpark, first brewed at Coors Field in Denver, Colorado. Make it your one-of-a-kind baseball tradition whether you're at the park or watching from home. Tyler must have been having a few Blue Moons on Tuesday night because his post-deadline tweets were something else. I mean, you got pretty much the entirety of Red Sox Nation pissing and moaning on Twitter about Chaim Bloom not doing anything at the deadline. Meanwhile, you got Tyler celebrating the Urias signing like he's fucking Manny Ramirez, and then he's tweeting out Rafael at AAA home runs. I don't know how many Blue Moons he had that night, but I'm sure it was quite a few. But honestly, how can you blame him? Because with its refreshing flavor with Valencia orange peel for a subtle sweetness and hints of coriander, Blue Moon Belgian-style wheat ale is a one-of-a-kind beer that's made brighter. It's carefully crafted and full-flavored with refreshing notes and a smooth, creamy finish. Blue Moon was brewed by baseball to give you a dose of nostalgia and get you excited for the new season. Why strike out with the same old beer when you can get something one-of-a-kind? Its bold flavor, bright color, and iconic orange slice ritual guarantee a one-of-a-kind beer experience perfect for spring weather. Best served with its signature orange garnish to showcase its beautiful bright color. A beer this good only comes around once in a blue moon, but you can enjoy it all season long. Brighten up your baseball traditions with Blue Moon Belgian-style wheat ale. It's one-of-a-kind every time. Check out shop.bluemoonbrewingcompany.com for baseball merch and visit get.bluemoonbeer.com/Jared to find Blue Moon delivery options. That's get.bluemoonbeer.com/Jared. Blue Moon, made brighter. Celebrate responsibly. Blue Moon Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado Ale.
Wow, thank you, Jake. I'm going to be having a lot of Blue Moon this weekend. I'm having my SummerSlam get together. I do, by the way, I have to go to Fenway Park with Steve Peralt on Saturday.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think Catillo did that like charity thing for like small. It was either like small business. It was during COVID. It was like 3 years ago. But someone for some reason is bid on the opportunity to go to a baseball game with me and Steve. So I'm going to the game on Saturday with this individual. I don't yet know who the person is.
One person, or is it like a group?
I don't know. I haven't asked many questions. I'm assuming they're listening right now.
Hello.
I'm excited. I'm excited to go to the game with you. It's supposed to piss out on Friday, right, Jake?
Yeah, that's what it looks like right now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need a raincoat.
Yeah, I've got. I was gonna try to interview Kevin Gosman on Friday. That was my goal. Saturday we're doing that with Steve, and then Sunday my dad was like, "We have tickets on Sunday," and I was like, "All right, I guess I'll just live at Fenway again for the weekend." So that'll be cool. I'm tomorrow, Thursday. I'm doing a secret project.
A secret project.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
With a secret someone.
Yeah, a secret someone, a secret project with a secret someone. Tomorrow.
What's it? If you had from Twitter, is that what you just said?
No. I
Have you ever done anything with this person before?
Yes, but it's been a while.
How long? Too much detail. Long time.
How long did I do something with this person for, or how long has it been since I've done something with this person?
Would you consider this a throwback?
I would consider it
a reunion that a lot of people ask me about. A lot of people are like, hey, when are you and so going to do something together again? And I'm like, I don't know.
I feel like I know.
I don't know. Cover your mouth and have Jake bleep it.
Is that okay, Jake? I don't want to create extra work for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
No.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I was a little, I'm not going to say what my actual guess was, but
What do you
there was
mean?
some weird crossing.
That you just guessed. That wasn't your actual guess? That was
No,
a fake
no.
guess?
No, it was my real guess. But like,
Oh.
I knew there was some weirdness based on where you are today, right?
Yeah. It's not,
You know.
it's not Hubs. That
Oh,
was
okay. So
how
you
it
just
is.
revealed my guess.
Yeah, it's not Hubs. Although, I'm assuming I'll be invited to his wedding. I'm probably going to go to his wedding. Whenever the fuck that is. I haven't seen Hubs in a long time. We still talk often.
Is he okay? How's he doing?
I'd love to answer that question, but I don't want to talk about myself.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That was a test, actually.
Yep.
A couple people who listen to the podcast reached out and they're like, hey, Jared showed some growth last episode, but was it real growth?
Was it real growth? I will say this. A lot of people reached out being like, hey, fuck all those people that were saying those mean things. And
They were cooking
love the
people,
show.
bro.
Yeah, they were like, keep the show as is. And I was like, I was going to do that anyway. But now that you say it makes me feel better about my decision to continue doing the show the way that we've always done it. A lot of Sox talk. You know,
I hope you guys are happy. You brought this out.
yeah. A lot
You
of
made
Sox
me
talk.
and Jared yell at each other.
I was more just yelling in general. I wasn't yelling at you.
I think we were agreeing with what we were saying. Like I
It
truthfully
sounded
think
like we were
agreeing.
arguing, but we were agreeing.
I was just like, what did you expect? And you're like, I don't care. I'm just pissed.
I definitely needed to vent. And it was difficult today because I had to do baseball hour with Maz before we did a podcast. And I
Charges
told
you
Tony-
up with negativity.
Well, not even that. I told Tony when we went on the air, I was like, you're getting like my first take on this. Like I haven't gotten the chance to do a podcast about this because even on Baseball is Dead, we did a Red Sox segment, but I still held back because I know that Red Sox fans listen to Baseball is Dead. Maybe not all the people that listen to Name Redacted, but there are some Red Sox fans that they like both. So, and you know, Jay Hay is like a brilliant baseball mind. So it's like, yeah, you don't need to hear all your Red Sox takes from me. So Dallas is a fucking troll, but Jay Hay will give you really good analysis, and it's from a person that isn't, you know, in the mix on the Red Sox. He's just like a neutral party. So I try to talk about the Red Sox here and there, but save the outbursts for here. Like I'm not sitting there next to Tony just fucking freaking out about the trade deadline. A lot of the things that I said were similar, but they weren't delivered with the same amount of anger and frustration as I did on this show.
You feel better?
Yeah. Because I mean, the conclusion wasn't fuck it, I'm out, like season's over, like I don't believe in Heim. Like that's not where I ultimately landed. But where I landed was this fucking sucks. I wish they did something to help the team right now, especially, you know, when we're talking about the relievers that were down. Like it would have been, if only there were an event where you could go out and acquire pitchers from other organizations that could help you right now. Yeah, something like that. But yes, I still believe the Red Sox can get into the postseason. Yes, I think that we will all feel differently vibes wise. Like once Trevor Story comes back and hits that first home run or gets that big hit, or when Chris Sale comes back and has like an 8 strikeout, 6 inning shutout performance, we're all going to forget about how shitty we feel right now because of the trade deadline. So I'm not waving the white flag on this season. I am going to piss and moan about the trade deadline for right now, but I think by the next podcast, if the Red Sox take 2 out of 3 from Toronto, I'm not going to give a fuck anymore. I'm going to be like, oh, like we just leapfrog Toronto or whatever. If they sweep them, like, yeah, I think that we can turn the page on how we feel about 2023 rather quickly, but it is entirely dependent on, I don't want to say this weekend alone, but the games in the near future. Yeah.
It's such a thin line. You go out and the Blue Jays kick you in the teeth for 3 games. You're in really rough shape. You're going to fall back and you're lucky the Angels.
Why did you say that?
Let's talk. We're hypothesizing.
Yeah, but no, you're bringing that negative shit in the air.
Hey, listen, the Red Sox are 7-0 against the Blue Jays. I don't know if you knew that.
All right. Well, no more negativity, please.
I'm sorry.
You are. Yeah. All right.
But you kind of look at the picture here. I think obviously, yeah, there's a chance if everything goes right, they could make the playoffs, right? Like that's the reality here. We'll see. More likely than not, it won't. But if they get hot, they get hot. And we've seen it's all about when it happens to them. If you catch them in one of their streaks, like where they are right now, where they can't get a big hit with runners in scoring position, it's tough. But if they get as hot as they did, a week ago, or really, for most part of July or whatever it was, like that's what can change everything for you. They just got to remain in the conversation. And I think that's why the Red Sox look at it and they're like, we just want to be competitive. It's house money at this point. Let's see if they somehow take off and pull a 2021 out of their ass. That would be incredible. But the fact that they could get that hot and that could happen, that's what we're all betting on here. That's what they're hoping for. And I think the Red Sox looked at that and said, all right, we're fine letting that play out this year because guess what? Our farm system's in a good place. This will be good development for the young players here. And say what you will, we didn't buy at the deadline. If after how hot they got and all that stuff happened and you sold, imagine what that looks like to the rest of baseball. You think it looks bad just to stay in the middle when you're out of the playoff race and there? Imagine what signal it sends to the rest of the league when you had Andrew Heaney and Zach Eflin telling you to go kick fucking rocks this offseason when you tore that entire team down after they were the hottest team from the middle of June until the deadline.
Yeah.
It's a hard fucking line to walk. I understand that. But they didn't have to be desperate selling off stuff because I think they could get a decent amount back based off those comp picks. If Paxton sticks around on a qualifying offer, there was still something there. They weren't going to trade JT. He means too much to the clubhouse.
No, I would.
And what Duvall's going to get you a fucking flyer?
Yeah,
like that's a slap dick prospect is what Adam Duvall would get you back.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else, Kenley, Martin, Pivetta, they're part of 2024. They're hoping they're in that first window. What's going to elevate them?
Do you think? Because I was listening today to Zolak and Bertrand, 98.5 The Sports Hub, 10 to 2, Monday through Friday on 98.5 The Sports Hub, where you can also hear Tyler Milliken and his takes. Was a Beetle that was saying that like Heimblum is basically like the Red Sox are pissed that they played so well in July because if they were 5 games out or more that they would have just sold.
Yeah, he was like he was like Heim wanted to sell. He was like in a perfect world Heim would sell everything off.
But like while I think that most general managers would have done that, Heim has never done anything with conviction at the trade deadline. Like even 21, yeah, he bought, he didn't sell, but he didn't go all in.
Yeah, base where that team was. Yeah, I can.
2021, like that was before I think we were all scarred as Red Sox fans by the Heim Bloom experience. And like we thought that there was a chance that the Red Sox could pull off a trade for Max Scherzer. Like now it's laughable to think that we ever thought that was a possibility, but we were thinking big. And I think that's what that gets lost in translation. Everyone's like, oh, it was a disappointing trade deadline. What do you mean? We got Kyle Schwarber. I get it. But like, that wasn't the big fish. Like Kyle Schwarber.
There was a big limit in 21 though, with the luxury tax. And the farm system wasn't where it was. So you didn't have the ability to go get those major pieces. And you really couldn't. You needed the farm system to grow.
I guess.
2020, I'd say like they went full sell. They knew that team was the worst fucking team ever we were watching. And, you got Nick Pivetta out of it.
Yeah, thank God.
Hey, listen, say what you will. Oh. It's still a very good deal.
I agree. Even though fucking Brandon Workman's like selling houses somewhere right now.
Hey, shout out to Brandon Workman and Heath Hembry.
Hey, he's still making that money. Brandon Workman still he's earning an honest living right now.
Yeah. But the conviction is the real thing. You want to see Heim put his nuts on the table and make that move. He's kicked the can down the road again. Some point, you're going to give something up you don't want to. It's going to be hard for you to swallow. You're going to worry, oh shit, is this the wrong move? You're going to have to do it. Can't wait anymore. You've already pushed it, to the limit pretty far, and you're taking a risk with what could have happened with this clubhouse. But I think wrapping it all the way around, for the most part, this clubhouse, they're not reacting like they did a year ago. And I think part of that's expectations. You're under the luxury tax. People know what that means in baseball. The way Justin Turner was speaking, Duvall, Paxton, Verdugo, I saw relief. Those guys looked like they all thought they were gone. Like it was over. Like This is the last time I'm seeing any of you guys. Like, peace the fuck
Verdugo
out.
specifically. Verdugo was like, it was weighing on me. Now that I'm still here, I'm thankful. I'm happy that I'm still here. I want to be here, which is why, that Sean McAdam headline that was, a very small fraction of what he actually said.
I don't care.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck if the Red Sox trade me. It's like, well, that's not exactly what he said. He said, I want to be here. I want to stay here, yada, yada. But he's still here. Duvall seems very relieved to still be here for some reason. Like the fact that the Atlanta Braves were interested and it didn't happen, I was very surprised. I thought it was almost a foregone conclusion that Duvall was going back to Atlanta or to Philly. Yeah, because they were interested too. But yeah. This is the group we got. This is who we're rolling with. It sucks that the Red Sox lost today because it really, I think it changed the entire tone of the trade deadline conversation, losing the game today. Because if the trade deadline, they do nothing, but they still win that series anyway, going into the podcast, I feel like I probably wouldn't have been as mad.
I agree. And it's kind of the way it happened, where the bullpen's clearly overworked and they're at their limits. Alex Cora still gets the majority of the blame for that today, but it is. I think everyone on Twitter, like that was easily the consensus. And I think it's fair. You pushed first off Cutter Crawford, right? 5 innings, continues to get the damn job done.
Definitely wanted Cutter to come back out. Yeah.
Yeah. He was at 81 pitches. Now, if you want to go here and say, well, he really hasn't gone beyond that, I'm not going to fight you. He's gone up to 89 pitches last month. That was his highest. He got up to 94 in June. But the 4-seamer velo, it was down 1.5 miles today. So clearly there was something on the arm. He was feeling it. But Cutter threw Cora under the bus after the game. He goes, I felt physically fine. I was ready to go one more inning. Seemed a little annoyed, if anything, that he didn't get the opportunity. You got to pick your battles here. Guys are going to have to step up when your bullpen is as short as it is. Well, instead, they said John Schreiber, we're hoping for 2 innings. Well, Cal Raleigh took him fucking deep. That guy owns the Boston Red Sox. 5 homers against them now this year.
Loves the
cool.
Sox.
1 inning, I get it. It is what it is. You need John Schreiber today. Trying to get 2 more innings when you push him to 35 pitches.
Yeah, I didn't love that.
Doing too much. And you had Brendan Bernardino. You choose Richard Blyer. Bernardino hasn't pitched since Sunday. And you have an off day tomorrow.
I feel like we've been calling Richard Blyer useless for the entire season.
He's only still here because Joely Rodriguez ended up on the IL. He'd be gone.
Yeah. Because he was hot.
7 straight scoreless innings.
Yeah.
But that's
he's
partially,
he's got a fat ass. He does.
He's a thick boy.
He is caked up.
Yeah, you grip it and you grip it a second time because you know there's really something there.
Yeah, he also can whistle really loud.
I don't like that. I don't like when people do that.
He if Joely is around, you'll know it. He sneaks up on nobody. He walks around and he will always have his AirPods in and he'll either be singing to whatever he's listening to, yelling across the field to the opposing team, like people that he knows that are in town, or he'll just be like randomly just whistling as loud as he possibly can. Like he is a very loud person.
Those spring training clips still are in my mind where he was just like, dude, he barely knew anyone on the team and he's like running around leading workouts and like, yo, what's up? Like fucking, and everyone's just like, I remember Tanner Houck specifically was just like, he looked so overwhelmed, but he was like, all right, dude, like do your own thing. Like we're polar opposites.
Yeah. he's funny. He's fun to be around.
But yeah, I looked at today's game. I thought it was Cora's worst managerial moment since the Kenley back-to-back in St. Louis.
So you want him fired is what you're saying?
No, Cora's done a very good job this year. There's been moments where I've been disappointed. The Kike stuff was rough for a lengthy stretch there. But for him to get what he has out of this roster, Alex Cora is a very good manager. There's people who hate Cora. There's a little part of this fan base that thinks he's horrendous.
I mean, to that, I would say, what manager doesn't make decisions that are questioned by their fan base? Is there a fan base out there that's like, we love our manager? Like, I guess like Guardians fans.
Yeah, I was about to say Tito's the only one.
Yeah, Tito can do no wrong. But I'm sure even when he was here, they called him Terry Francoma. Like, they fucking It'd be like, oh yeah, like you're just gonna leave your star out there? What is he sleeping? Terry Francoma. Like, yeah, like there's not a manager in the game. Like the grass is always greener. Be thankful that you have a manager that fucks up far fewer than most other managers. There's like Bruce Bochy, even like a guy like Buck Showalter, who's like going to be a Hall of Fame manager someday. It's like, he's putting out lineups where fans are like, what the fuck is this? Like, there's no such thing as a perfect manager. You have one of the best. You have one of the best. No manager is going to make a perfect decision every single time.
When you watch a guy every day, those mistakes stick in your head much longer than they would anywhere else. That's what it is. Just like you watch a closer. Kenley's pretty much one of those guys where Dodgers fans and Braves fans are like traumatized. We get Kenley Jansen this year and we're like, this is fucking amazing. Like he's just a legit closer because we lived life without a closer. They sat there and they think about Josh Hader and like the elite of the elite. And we're like, oh, I want that. Dude, a really, really good closer. When you don't have one, you realize the difference. And that's what it is. We're thankful for Kenley every time he steps on the mound.
And even the really, really good closers are going to blow like 5 or 6 games a year anyway. So it is what it is. It's baseball. You really start to get a feel for like when you're looking at all these accounts on Twitter that just started popping up in the last few years. And now they're all like diehard Red Sox fans. Like how many fans really have sat through a 162 before? Like if you're freaking out about a couple of decisions that you don't agree with Alex Cora, and you're like, fire this fucking guy. Like, do you really think you know baseball better than him? Or like, I'm not even like, I'm telling you right now, I did not agree with taking Cutter Crawford out of the game. But where my opinion doesn't count for very much is, did I have a conversation with Cutter Crawford before the game? Like, that stuff happens all the time where you go up to, hey, like how many innings you got today? Yeah, probably like 5. Yeah, I probably got 80 pitches in me today based on how I feel. And then you get to the 5th inning and he's at 81 pitches and you're like, all right, you're done. Like, yeah, I feel like I could go out for another one. No, you're done. Like sometimes you have to protect the athlete from himself. So that stuff happens and we're never privy to it. Like those conversations, they're like, again, when you say, oh, John Schreiber shouldn't have gone 2 innings today. Like it should have been reliever X. Okay, well, what if reliever X said, hey, I'm fucking dying right now. Like my shoulder is fucked. Like I really need a day. Like Alex Cora is not going to sit up there and be like, yeah, no, he tapped out before the game. So that's why we didn't go to him.
The only guys we know who were down, Cora confirmed him after the game, were Wink and Martin. I'd wonder why Chris Martin was down. He didn't seem like he did a ton yesterday.
How many pitches did he throw yesterday?
It was like, what, 10? Was it even that many? Hold on, let me pull it up here. But like, I was a little surprised there. But at the same time, Chris Martin has been arguably, not really arguably, he is your best reliever.
Yep. He has been. He's been a great find by Chaim Bloom. For all the anger towards Chaim for a whack-ass deadline, Chris Martin was a great find. Okay. He's hit on a lot of guys.
Chris Martin threw 8 pitches yesterday.
Yeah, so that one. But again, like maybe that's something where it's like,
told you.
Yeah, Phil. I'm down today.
Like all I'm saying is, if Cutter said like I'm good for another inning, Bernardino apparently wasn't shut down according to him. You knew you had Kenley at the end of the game. You got to pair that a little differently there. You got to take some risks. It was just he took the wrong risk. And listen, it's easy to say that because I watched the fucking game and I didn't have to make the decision in the moment.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Again, there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes that we are just not privy to. Anyways, knock around sunglasses. We're in the heat of the summer. And you need a pair of great shades that you don't have to baby. Knock Around Sunglasses is the go-to for quality polarized shades that won't break the bank. Plus, they just released the first set of teams for their official MLB collection, including the Red Sox and Yankees, as well as the official U.S. women's soccer team sunglasses, so you can add a little extra something to your game day outfit for this summer's big games. Don't be the person that's squinting into the sun or worried about getting sand on your overpriced sunglasses. Check out knockaround.com for great looking polarized shades starting at just $28. Use the promo code ROCKET and you'll get free shipping on your order. That is knockaround.com. Get some Red Sox shades to be sitting out in the bleachers watching the songs.
Oh, thank you for sending those over. That I've been really getting great use out of them the last couple.
Oh,
of
I have a bunch of shit at my house for you, Tyler.
A bunch?
Uh-huh.
This sounds like my own kind of Christmas.
Yeah. I mean, I have a card. I have that glass that I showed you.
That thing is sick. Thank you to whoever sent that.
Anna Lee, Sharon, shout out. That's why when that stupid dumb fuck on the Reddit was like, oh, I cringe every time that they play the Bullet sound drops. Like, fuck you. Like, I love that drop. And it was sent to us by two of the biggest listeners and supporters of this show. So suck our ass.
What happened to Bullet?
Suck it hard.
He died.
There's also some thread about hating the Clark's Ketchup theme song so much that this person hoped the Red Sox lose every series for the rest of the year. And I said, I'm going to play it 6 times in a row the next time the Red Sox win a series. And they said, well, I'm still going to listen anyway. That's usually it. I mean, people will piss them off, but they'll still listen anyway.
Great tune.
It's a great song.
That was depressing. Because now I'm in the vibe of handing out ketchup.
Yeah. I mean,
You know
Jaron
who-
Duran straight up robbed of ketchup today. Robbed.
Every single game, he had a game-breaking moment.
Yeah. He's a difference maker. I said that last night. I was like, Jaron Duran is the definition of a difference maker. Anytime, and like, it was very funny listening to Will Middlebrooks on the broadcast. Like, he just like gets a real kick out of Jaron Duran. Anytime that Jaron Duran knocks a ball through the right side or even the other way, and he ends up with a double on what 99% of the rest of the league would have a single on that play. Jaron Duran just cruises into second base. He's like, yep, suck my dick. It's a double, actually. Mark it down, double. Like, it's just crazy. And then he just causes chaos on the base paths, and he makes infielders throw the ball around, and they have to make these panicked throw. Like, so that's one thing that I want to note about the Jaron Duran stuff is, like, he'll run around the bases like crazy and then end up scoring a run when he should still be on first base, and be like, well, you're going to credit Jaron Duran on that? Like, the infielders made 3 errors on that play. It's like, yeah, no shit. You think if Giancarlo Stanton was running around the bases that they would be making panicked throws and forcing these errors? Like, no. Like, that's because he's fast, because he's a difference maker. That's why they're making shitty throws that are going into the dugout and up the line and into the outfield. So, yeah. And he made a sick catch as well yesterday. Yeah, he fucking hit a home run. Yeah, the fucking guy is did Mookie Betts just hit a home run?
Oh, no.
Yeah,
We
he
got to
did.
touch on that
Let's
today.
go. Yeah,
I saw someone in the subreddit.
What?
They were like, oh, well, you guys never got back to your Mookie Betts
Oh yeah,
points,
my
remember?
mom asked me about that. Yeah, my mom asked me this. She's like, you said you had something you wanted to say about Mookie, and then you never said it. And I was like, yeah. And I responded in the subreddit as well. I was like, yeah, we didn't like dodge it. I honestly am just stupid and I forgot. But yeah, Mookie Betts. This is now like a couple weeks ago at this point, right? Like 10 days ago, week and a half, maybe, whatever. So it's not
like 2 weeks.
Fresh. Yeah, it's not super fresh relevant at this point now. But
Hi, Ellen.
hey, Ellen. She listens to every single episode. She listens to Baseball is Dead and Name Her Deck. My dad does too. My dad watches on YouTube.
I feel like I'd be scared of your dad.
Why? He's the nicest guy.
He just looks like he could fuck you up if you pissed him off.
Yeah, he's got that like old
Saugus.
school like mob. No, he's Boston. No, he'll pop one in the back of your head and fucking bury you in the marsh. But
Oh my.
yeah, he lives in Saugus, but he's an East Boston guy. He's the nicest man, very sweet, very innocent, very gentle. But if you just observe him from afar, he's got that like at wakes, like if there's like a wake or a funeral and it's like an Italian wake or a funeral, like everyone like comes up and like kisses the ring for my dad. He'll just like he'll just be there like just off by himself, like wearing his dark sunglasses, like smoking a cigar, and everyone's like, everyone shows their respect for my dad. He's a boss. Did we lose you? Or you lost me?
We lost you.
That's all right.
All I heard saw you was like holding your finger like with the ring like this, and you're like,
yeah, no, because it was a cigar. But that records that, right, Jake? So like the listeners will still see what I said.
Yeah, we got
All
it.
right, I don't care.
I just look like an absolute idiot as I'm trying to configure what's happening.
Yeah, my dad watches all the podcasts. My mom listens to them, and sometimes they'll watch them together. So shout out to my parents.
Did they think you're mean to me?
No, they fucking hate you.
What? You're what?
Yeah, I didn't say it. Yeah,
Have me over for dinner with the family.
You're more than welcome to come over for dinner. Now that you just said that, I guarantee you, once this comes out, as they're watching it, my mom is already crafting a tweet to you right now, being like, "You can come over for dinner anytime you want, Tyler. At Tyler fucking Milliken." That's what she's doing.
We lost you again.
That's your fault. I got 99%
fuck you.
upload.
I'm coming over for dinner.
All right. Whenever you want. I got 99% upload speed. So
I think the world just hates you.
could be. Anyways, we almost didn't give the Mookie Betts take again. So the whole thing with what was it? He was doing like an interview with Brock Holt. Was it Brock Holt that he was doing the interview with?
Yes.
Okay. So he's doing an interview with Brock Holt where he says, I never wanted to leave Boston. Like I wanted to sign with the Red Sox and I wanted to spend my whole career there and yada, 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 yada. Any Red Sox fan that was following that story from day one, all he kept saying the whole time was, I'm going to free agency. I'm going to free agency. I'm going to free agency, which is fine. Like you can definitely do that. And I respect that. Like you are one of the best players in the game and you've earned your right to go to free agency and see what else is out there. But I think the timing of it with the Dodgers coming to town this month, I think he's putting that out there because in his mind, like he thinks that like he's going to get booed.
Which is crazy because sports radio and everything still is having like once a month the Mookie Betts conversation on air.
Yeah, he was never going to get booed here. But I think like kind of having like a loose understanding of his psyche, I think that that's what he thought. So did I already fucking cover this bet, Jake? Oh yeah. Yeah, I already hit. Woo! It's thank you.
Is this the fuck you Dallas one?
What? Is this
the fuck you Dallas one?
I'm gonna wait. So I have what? Freddie Freeman 2+ total bases. Who's 2 for 2. It's the bottom of the second, by the way. Freddie Freeman 2+ total bases. Mookie Betts. Mookie Betts is also 2 for 2, and he just homered. Like I could have done 4+ total bases, and then I did Dodgers -1.5, and it's 7-0 in the second inning. Oh man, love that. Big hit for me. Big hit for me. Anyways, yeah, all that to say, I think that Mookie was putting that narrative out there because he didn't want to get booed, and I didn't think that he was going to, but.
And the thing I'll add is like I still remember obviously when it all played out, Jim Rice was the one that like came out. He's like, I talked to Mookie, right? Mookie wanted to be here. Yada yada. I think what gets lost in this, and it's the quote. Look it up. You can Google it right now. You'll find it. I was reading the article a week ago. It meant so much for him to go to free agency for the MLBPA. He felt like he had to do that to go, get money for everyone and kind of raise that threshold at the time of what guys were getting paid. And that's what we knew. He wanted like 12 years, $420 million. That was like the rumor going around for whatever he wanted. When he got traded to the Dodgers, there's a reason there wasn't an extension worked out, that month or even in spring training before COVID hit. When COVID hit and all that happened, before that, he was planning to go to free agency. You look up the articles at the time. There was no expectation that he was going to sign that deal before free agency. COVID hit. Everything got crazy. No one knew what was going to happen to the sports world or baseball. And he agreed to that deal in like July, was it? Right before the season restarted. And even then, no one thought they were going to get through a season. Everyone was like, oh, they're going to show up and play a week and everyone's going to get sent home. Like, that's what it was. And there were periods where it felt like that. But that conversation for Mookie and signing an extension before free agency completely changed due to the circumstances that happened.
COVID.
And that's just what bothers me. I feel like people don't forget. They're like, oh, he just wanted to get paid. No, he wanted to hit free agency. It meant a lot to him for the MLBPA. Unfortunately, the world fell apart and he said, I need to get my bag and secure myself, which props to him. He deserved it. But that's how it did play out.
Pretty much. Yeah. Whatever. It would have been funny, though, for real, if the Dodgers did trade for Eduardo Rodriguez and the Red Sox would have had to do 6 video packages. 6.
I'm not looking forward to that series because the conversation around it's going to be awful. But man, those video tributes, I was looking at tickets just to see what they were. The tickets for those games are fucking expensive right now. People want to see everyone return. Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to go, I'll fucking take you, stupid ass.
Aw. Might have to do that. No, but like that was one of those things I was considering. Joe Kelly, Mookie, freaking Dave Roberts is the manager, JD Martinez, Kike, who's hitting 300s and showing up over there, by the way. Ryan Brazier, who shoves it up our ass every single day, dominating out of that Dodgers bullpen. It's like, damn, man.
I'll be honest, I don't care about any of this because like Mookie was never going to stay here.
Nope.
JD, like the trade-off is Justin Turner, and he plays defense. I mean, he's been awesome offensively, and he plays defense, which JD does not. I love you,
JD would die if he played second base.
Yeah. Brazier, that was obviously never going to happen here. Kike, that was another thing, was never going to happen here. Yeah, and like if Eddie did go there, like I don't know that he was wanted here. So none of it bothers me. Like, congrats to the Dodgers, but like, I don't give a fuck. You see, the Yankees will enter August in last place for the first time since 1990.
I love it. Inject it into my veins.
Who the fuck did I see? Eric Kratz was like, they're going to get into the playoffs and yada, yada. I was like, what?
Well, after the news today, and I'm not making a joke of it, but Domingo Germán, it seems like those details that are going to come out involving that story are pretty fucking bad. And he's not going to be playing baseball for the Yankees again this year.
I don't even know if those details will come out, to be honest with you.
The way it sounded, like for Brian Cashman, I wouldn't be shocked.
If the details came out?
No, if they don't come out. Like it seems very serious.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a major blow for them.
I mean, Domingo Germán sucks at pitching. He threw one
Says
perfect game against the worst fucking baseball team of all time. The rest of the season, it's like whatever. That dude loves giving up gopher balls. Luis Severino sucks. Like Rodon sucks. The offense sucks without Judge. Judge has 1 foot. Like that team's not good.
When you're in last place, they need innings because everyone's hurt. But Luis Severino sucks. Like, what does it fucking matter really for them at the end of the day? Rodon gets his shit kicked in every start.
Yeah. Well,
we have Trevor Story news.
Do you have any other thoughts on I know we didn't like talk about it like game by game, but they lost the series, and like I feel like we highlighted the good points and we talked about the major bad points, like the bullpen management, the Cutter Crawford coming out early, Jarren Duran being a highlight. Was there anything else that happened in the Mariners series that stood out to you?
Welcome back, Reese McGuire. God, it makes me feel good never to have to think about Jorge Alfaro again. One of my least favorite Red Sox players in recent memory. Watching him attempt to play defense, attempt to hit, none of it's good. Reese McGuire hits his first homer of the year. He's just capable back there. You can give Connor Wong a breather. That means a lot.
Yeah.
I do have one other.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
What was my oh no, I just lost it. What was I gonna say?
What were you gonna say?
Oh, Brian Bayo. Going through a little bit of a stretch here post All-Star break for Brian Bayo. 6.55 ERA, 6.77 FIP. He's just about 2.9 home runs per 9 right now. Homer in 4 straight starts. This is part of being a young pitcher. I don't want to overreact. That's definitely not what I'm going to be doing. But for people who thought it was going to be all smooth ride for him moving forward, these are one of the things we're watching. He kind of has to figure it out at the big league level right now. The league has adjusted a little bit to him. We've seen the struggles against lefties. Guys kind of teeing off on him on that sense. He battled. He didn't have very good stuff yesterday, but I feel like Cora has said that every start recently for him.
I mean, I pointed out the home run thing when it was an early problem. Now we're kind of at the point where it is I think glaring, is dramatic, but it's notable. It's a notable issue. So something to keep an eye on. The Stop and Shop look ahead brought to you by Stop and Shop. Head on down to Stop and Shop and buy fucking tangerines, at least 5 pounds, and get 10 cents off each one of your tangerines only at Stop and Shop using the promo code section 10. This, like, I'm like not even really sure who's pitching in these games right now. Like, I'm not confident. Like, I've got James Paxton versus Alek Manoah, Nick Pivetta versus Jose Barrios, Brian Bayo versus Chris Bassett. But I don't know that Brian Bayo is going on Sunday now. They might push him to Monday.
He pitched Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Yeah, that might give him. They've been trying to give him, an extra day of rest throughout the season so far. Not going to be able to do that much longer, though. That's kind of the other half of this. They have, 1 day off, the rest of August after Thursday.
I mean, whatever. We can just go through. We can go through the Blue Jays starters then. Whatever. We know James Paxton and Pivetta and whatever. Fucking
yeah. I got rehab updates if you want to make that part of it as well.
Yeah, let's talk about who the Jays got, and then we'll do some rehab updates. Alek Manoah, 2-8, a 5.87 ERA, a 1.79 WHIP, and an 8 strikeouts per 9. Since he's been back from the depths, 4 starts, 18 2/3 innings, 15 hits, 9 earned runs, 12 walks, 20 strikeouts, 2 home runs. He's hit 3 guys. That's a 4.34 ERA, a 4.93 FIP.
RIP Taylor Ward.
Yeah. Smashed him in the face. Yeah, that was not good. That was not good at all. He only has double-digit swing strikes 4 times this year in 17 starts. The walk rate is nuts. 6.3 walks per 9. Like, this just feels like the yips to me, and no one wants to say it. He has 4 games with 5+ walks, including 1 with 7. Since his return, he's gone 0, 5, 4, 3 walks in his games. He faced the Red Sox on May 3rd, 5 innings, 8 hits, 5 runs, only 2 earned. Got the loss. He's lost 1.1 miles per hour on his 4-seam. Slider has good peripherals, a 188 expected batting, 29.5% whiff. The Blue Jays are 7-10 when he pitches, and they're 3-1 since he's come back. Interesting. Jose Barrios, 8-7, a 3.31 ERA, a 1.20 WHIP, and an 8.5 strikeouts per 9. Had an awesome July. 5 starts, 29.1 innings, 23 hits, 6 earned runs, 12 walks, 28 strikeouts, a 1.84 ERA. Only gave up 1 home run, a 5.99 OPS. Did not allow more than 2 earned runs in any start in the month of July. Still walking guys, but I mean, if they're not scoring, who gives a fuck? Pitched against the Red Sox, not well. 2 starts, 11 1/3, 16 hits, 9 earned, 2 walks, 12 strikeouts, 5 bombs. He's only allowed 2 or more home runs in a game twice all year, and that was both against the Red Sox. In fact, he has only allowed 14 home runs this year. 5 of them have been to the Red Sox. He is not as good on the road as he is at home. 3.82 ERA on the road in 12 starts. The Blue Jays are 13-9 when he pitches, 3-2 in July. Finally, Chris Bassett, who I love. I love Bassett. 10-6, a 4 ERA, a 1.24 WHIP, and an 8.5 strikeouts per 9. All their strikeouts per 9 are very similar. He's got some very weird extremes this year. He has 3 starts of 7+ earned runs, and he has 7 starts of 0 earned runs, all of which were 6 innings or more. He's his most effective when he strikes out exactly 5 batters. He's done that 9 times this year, and the Blue Jays have won 7 of those games, 7-2. He missed Boston both series, so this is his first time seeing the Red Sox this season. His away stats, very bad, Tyler. 12 starts, a 5.63 ERA, a 1.59 WHIP, and a 7.8 strikeouts per 9. At home, a 2.56 ERA. Unfortunately, the series for him at Fenway Park. his 4 ERA and his 4.57 FIP are both the worst of his career. He's lost a mile per hour on his sinker, and he's lost a mile and a half on his cutter. He's already allowed 24 doubles this year after 26 in a full season last year. The Blue Jays are 13-10 when he pitches this year, and they have lost 2 straight. So again, it's kind of hard to do predictions when we don't exactly know how the rotation's going to line up. But
I think we can expect them to be as aggressive as they're going to be here because they've lost 2 series in a row. They're going to do everything they can to avoid losing another, especially to an in-division rival. And let's be real, if you sweep, it completely changes the playoff picture either way.
yeah, going 10-0 against the fucking Jays would be a wild scene, though.
Insane. We'd come back on the next episode at the highest high we've had all year.
All right, so let's just say Paxton, Pivetta, and then if it's not Bayo on Sunday, who would they? That's a bullpen game?
Yeah, it'd be a bullpen Chris Murphy style. Because Sale's starting Sunday, AAA.
Okay. Okay. Do we just not do predictions because it's like 2 incomplete?
I can predict.
What do you got?
I'll take 2 out of 3. I did have 1 out of 3 last series. I think the Red Sox do show up in this series because this is who they are, and I do think there's
by you, Dick.
Yeah. Thank you. This is who they are, and we're gonna ride the roller coaster. They got to show up. I think they know it's slipping a little bit here, and Alex Verdugo seemingly has kind of found it after a 5-game hitting streak.
He's getting hot.
Oh, we're seeing Doogie kind of come back and be the player he needs to be, and I think that goes a long way for this team. I think they show up and kind of get that momentum back going right now.
Alex Verdugo. Did he get a hit today, right? 6 straight?
Yep.
Oh, he's going off.
Oh, I do want to say, some people took me as like a very like trade Verdugo, no matter, like just fucking get him off the team. That was not that. No, I did not.
You literally said
you are fake news.
What?
You are fake news, Jared Karavis. All I said was, if he was what stopped you from getting a cost control pitcher and you could save prospects, I think we agreed you make that deal. Sadly, no one wanted him.
Okay.
In that kind of deal. Because then they acted like they never offered him anywhere. And I think they definitely were willing to listen and put him on the table.
Jake, you got a prediction for this?
Yeah, I'm breaking out the reverse sweep.
Whoa.
Yeah. I mean, you lose
What, is Jake
winnable
frozen?
games on the West Coast. Defense is pretty bad, and fucking vibes are just down from the deadline. So I feel like it's definitely reverse
Is
sweep
Jake
territory.
frozen? Am I frozen? What the fuck's going on?
No, Jake's talking fluently to me right now.
He's frozen for me.
He's pulling, oh God, he's pulling the reverse sweep.
Oh, he is?
Jake, you can hear him, right?
Yeah, tell him I'm going reverse sweep.
Yeah, he's going reverse sweep. Pass the message along. This is so weird.
Why
I'm going
is
to be
he
real.
frozen for me?
I don't know. People who are listening, this is by far the worst episode we've ever had internet wise. Jared, like for the last 30 minutes, I think I've gotten like maybe 30% of what you said.
Jesus Christ.
We're battling.
We are.
Tell
All
Jared
right,
to just
well,
keep going.
I can't fucking hear Jake, so
Jared said just keep going. Go.
I'm gonna go Red Sox 2 out of 3. Red Sox 2 out of 3 in this one. Wow, Jake went reverse sweep.
Do you want his reasoning? I can tell you.
Yeah, tell me what he said.
People listening. After the bad defense and kind of sloppy play, losing games they should have been winning, he had to break it out. It is what it is. And I watched Rafael Devers tackle Yu Chang today, so I think it's a good take.
Okay. All right. I like when Jake runs the reverse sweep play. It's yet to fail us. And before we get out of here, what do you got for the rehab updates?
Yeah, so kind of sad / depressing news. Not really, but no setback for Trevor Story. He's not coming back Friday. That was the date he had circled. He still is trying to get more comfortable playing night into the next day, get that timing there. So we're waiting on that a little bit. They didn't rule out the rest of the weekend, but that's where they are right now. And he's been pretty good on this rehab assignment. He's striking out a fair amount, which is to be expected. The type of player he is, and he hasn't played. But up to 3 home runs, hit 1 last night again, 2 at AAA, 1 at AA. just about what you're looking for. He looks great defensively, so that's really not a worry. Chris Sale made his rehab start yesterday. First one at AAA. 2 innings pitched, 1 hit, 0 earned runs, 3 Ks, 2 walks. Topped out at 96 5 times, 40 pitches total. Another rehab start on Sunday at AAA. After that, he should be joining the Red Sox. He'll be the first pitcher back. Tanner Houck will make his first rehab outing on Saturday, looking to throw 40 to 45 pitches. Then he'll make another, start kind of situation, build up to 60 to 65. We talked about Whitlock's comments last episode. Houck was the opposite. He was like, I see myself as a starter. That's what I want to be. Wouldn't be surprised if he gets the starting nod if there's an opportunity there, or at least closer to that. I think they're going to fuse him and Sale together. I know that was a conversation piece a couple of years ago. They apparently really liked what the Giants were doing against them. That might be how they, configure this thing moving forward. And Garrett Whitlock will follow Sale on Sunday for his first rehab assignment. And then they're hoping they're all back by August 15th, which is the first game of the series against the Nationals. Sale should be the first one back.
Are you excited?
Extremely. I think Chris Sale is going to show up and play a much bigger role down the stretch than people realize.
I think so too. I'll join you in that. I will join you in that. I'm very excited for Chris Sale to return. I'm very excited for Trevor Story to play shortstop. I feel like it's been a long time coming. And all right. We'll be back on Sunday going into Monday, right? Off day tomorrow. What are you going to do for the off day?
I don't even know. Oh, actually, what I'm going to be doing for the off day. Friday will be the first time I'm hosting the baseball hour all by myself. It's going to be an hour of Tyler Milliken.
I'm going to call it.
So I'm going to be kind of prepping up, getting ready for the first one. We are going to have Ian Cundall of Sox Prospects coming on for an interview and, one of the segments, 15 or 30 mark. We're going to be talking the Red Sox system. Huh?
Did you book that?
I did.
What are you going to ask him?
A bunch of stuff. I want to talk about Ceddanne Raphael at AAA and what he's doing. Just hit his 8th homer in 27 games. Wow. Fucking unreal. Look, as a guy who always questions Ceddanne Raphael's hit tool, I'll even say this is pretty damn impressive. I did not think he was going to get to that level and explode. I'm not saying I've changed my opinion, but he's opening my eyes.
I feel like you have to change your opinion at this point to be like, I can't hit, and he's got like a 950 OPS.
I said I don't think he has an elite hit tool, and I think at the big leagues it's like a league average bat. That's what I kind of assumed. I said Kike Hernandez 2021. But he's opening the chase rate and all that stuff. You swing like this, it means something, but still, there's a lot of red flags there. That's why I'm not changing my opinion. But my eyes are opening. I'll give him tip of the cap. We're going to talk that. Marcel Meyer, what he's doing at AA, still scuffling a bit here. Numbers haven't really turned around. There's some bad luck as well, but get his take. Roman Anthony, a little bit of everything. But nobody knows the system better than him, so I think it's a good way to kind of break everything down.
I won't be able to listen live, but I'll probably go back and listen to it.
Thank you.
I listen to the fucking stuff that you do.
Of course. No, yeah. When I can't remember what podcast it was, but I didn't even say anything to you. I didn't even talk about being on it. You're like, oh, I listened to that thing you did the other day. And that meant
I just did a reason. What podcast? Oh, the fucking Off the Pike or whatever the fuck.
Oh yeah. What'd you think?
Yeah, I mean, you were terrible, but I listened to the whole thing.
Thank you. Yeah. Brian Barrett, great guy.
Yeah,
another nerd. So we kind of
go back. Why did you never ask me to come on? What the fuck? You've been on twice?
Yeah. I think he'd love to have you on, if I'm being honest with you.
Never fucking asked me.
Got to do it. Would you like me to? You want me to extend the bridge?
I'm just gonna say no, and like most times that's probably true. But I think that's like a T-shirt. That's like a gift shop T-shirt where it's like, I don't want to go, but I at least want to be invited.
Yeah, you want to feel included.
Mm-hmm.
But I will tell Brian
people don't
you want
ask
to be
me
on
because they think that I will say no.
Would you say no to Brian?
No.
There you go.
Like I'm gonna do what is it? It's Pod on Lansdowne, right?
Oh yeah.
Like I've known those guys for fucking like at least 10 years.
Great Twitter follows, all of them.
Yeah, I've been following them minimum 10 years, I think. All three of them. So
they were working out a trade They're a considerable move moving
That
me
would've
off
been
the
a funny
podcast.
That would have been a very funny bit if we actually did for like one episode. Like if the conversation about the trade deadline was too important to not have like the full roster for that discussion. But like, I think it would have been very funny if like I traded you to that podcast and like I got one of them over here.
You just never
did an
talk to me
episode.
again.
Yeah, like we just did a full episode, like with like a trade. That would be very funny. I would do that just
Hey,
for
listen,
an episode.
Sign me. If someone wants to come get me, or excuse me, trade for me, I do have value here. I'm not DFA'd yet.
Yeah, I'll trade you
Wow. You
for an
dickhead.
episode. For an episode.
Oh, cool. Oh, I don't need you for this game.
Ooh.
I may show up and fucking go deep in the bottom of the ninth, and you'll miss that.
Maybe for that.
I may bring up another dead person in my family.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. You never know.
Lots of dead people to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
But for Friday, anyone who wants to raise any questions, I'll be putting out a tweet about it. Throw it in there, and I'd be happy to answer them on air.
What game you're going on Saturday?
I'll be there Saturday. What's that?
Maybe I'll see you there.
Definitely.
Definitely.
I'll come say hi. I'll have Martha with me.
You'll come say hi to me.
You'll come say hi to me? You want to come see me?
I'll come see you.
Okay, come see me. I'll send you my seats.
Yeah. I'll reintroduce myself to Martha since the only time that we met was when you were incapacitated.
I'll be having a good time at this game.
You're gonna be putting down some blue moons.
Yes, more than a few.
Okay.
I want to my tweets. Sorry if my tweets are not good on Saturday, but I'll be doing my best.
You deserve to let loose a little bit.
I think I need to. I'm a little tense.
Yeah, you work really hard. You're out there. You're either at work or thinking about work or doing something work related when you're not even at work, or you're doing the podcast or you're live tweeting a Red Sox game. Trust me, I know the time that goes in.
Game recognizes game.
Yeah. You're welcome for blazing the path for you.
No, yes. I am like Heim Bloom is one of the nerds off the Andrew Friedman truck. I'm one of the people off the Jared Carabas truck.
I don't know that I want you to
Oh,
be
fuck
Heim.
you.
No. I'm saying I don't know that I want you to be Heim Bloom and me being Andrew Friedman. I'd rather you be like a Mike Hazen to my Theo Epstein.
All right. Well, that would be better for me long term.
Yeah.
Most likely.
Yeah. Or like a Ben Cherington.
At least I'd get another job.
You'd win a World Series.
That's true. Short lived, but it was. I'll burn out quickly. That'll probably be actually how it plays out.
Or who else was in there? Like a Jed Hoyer?
Yeah, that could work.
Jed Hoyer, yeah.
You don't want me to be the Heim Bloom to you.
Well, he hasn't won anything. And you, my friend, are a winner to me.
And that's the perfect way to end this podcast. Nicest thing you ever said to me.
Mm-hmm.
Jake, would you like to say something nice?
No, I was just going to say, if you got traded to another podcast, you'd probably start talking about killing animals, and they'd just be like, get this guy the fuck out of here.
Jared, I'm really sorry you missed that. He said, telephone over here. Jake said that if I got traded to another podcast, I'd probably start talking about killing animals, and they'd be like, get this kid fucking out of here.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Can't handle the heat, baby.
Yeah. Can he hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Jake's takes?
Just can't wait to see Tyler get hammered again at Fenway on Saturday.
Telephone?
Yeah,
let him know.
He can't wait to see me get hammered at Fenway on Saturday.
Yeah, that's going to be sick. I'm very excited for that.
In advance, I'm sorry, Martha. I love you. He's frozen again.
Hey, that's not my fault. Anyways,
you're cooked, bro.
Listen, if you're at the game on Saturday, we're doing the Milliken meetup in between the 5th. I'll tweet the deets. I'll tweet the deets on where we're going to be. We're doing the Milliken meetup. Come get your picture with Tyler Milliken. And if you're wearing an OG Section 10 t-shirt, Tyler, I don't know yet. Tyler will do something for you. I don't know yet. I haven't decided yet.
It's a lot of pressure.
Yeah. Well, I haven't decided yet, but the Milliken meetup is going to be in between the 5th inning on Saturday at Fenway. I'll tweet the deets on where it's going to be, but be prepared. It's going to be great. We'll see you there.
Buenas noches, amigos.